Godettes live up there now. We picked the police cars up there, man. And he'd bring the scraps, lettuce and stuff from a restaurant home. He was throwing it in the backyard. We'd go out there, off his garage, he said, "Girl, you guys eat too much, you're getting too fat." And he just looked at him. And he says, "You're eating the ivy off my house." I said, "Well, you're biting them up here."
Yeah. You invite them in, then you just go.
Now when deer hunting with me, he had that 59 Ford, red and white. One of them saying, "Bro, so far me had up there." And I had to go with that, a little dog coming out and talking to me. I didn't have to do that. I could make that truck. No, let it grow. We sat there for 2 or 3 hours.
I just started transferring match makers. A hard time with that. I got an open door tag and there's a legal door standing there. I started deer hunting when there weren't any deer. I can say go away 3 times every day.
I was running it down in Tennessee. I was allowed to get 3 does per day. 175
legally settled here, nobody there, so I did a lot of hunting.
And that one year I shot 3 does, left play, one at a time. They were 5 foot apart. They all came across the field, stopped, and I raised Kate up with mom. And then got picked up. Parked one spot and loaded all 3 of them.
Did you get to mention to Bruce at all our conversation?
I mean,
They're going to want to speak
how many
with their
items?
items.
Got 3 of
They
them.
were
I'll tag them. I'll meet you down at Sable Rock.
and food trucks.
I'll bring 2 buddies.
2 aldermen called I asked me here on the agenda is chillaxed tap.
The wind had been blowing.
It's a
And I didn't make a stand that first day, because they were supposed to put bowling. And boy, they Texas, come down from Washington. This wind's gonna be blowing.
And so I told them right after I went to you, explain to them that
I just sat there and I'm
we
looking
didn't
at it.
approve your garden.
Cool.
That would
And all of a sudden
require,
something
fencing it off.
And right front of the reflector here, spikes.
You know what I mean? So the alcohol would.
And I had to explain that one to the game work, but I didn't do it.
Managing the ingress and
But he walked right up
egress.
that big bucket.
So I guess they're here to present the.
We hunted out there in Spokane.
Of course, that's up to the board. You
Tried
approve the
it,
food truck
Jerry shot it here.
event. So you could say no,
Yeah,
you
he's using
could
the software.
allow them to do the same requirements that we require for
We got work.
your garden.
We could.
It's really like
That's up to y'all. But,
It's just
that's what
a
you're here to talk about.
But he did.
And this isn't actually them.
But we hung
They're
it.
vendors for.
Then we went back out to pick it up later.
And there's a second one that I just got made Friday. I haven't looked at it. I just shoved it in the folder, but after you called, I looked at it again.
We went out, loaded, and went back into town. First person I seen in town was Fred Shaw. He was
Yeah, I did.
the Conservation agent. I just read
And
about
their
it.
application,
That was good.
for their application,
Just
said
been out
no
Skokie
seat.
is all
When I
right
talked to her, she said,
You're okay, Shane.
it's just stand-up bar.
You'll leave out here and you'll come back into that.
I said, well, you know how that means towards people just getting their drinks and walking out, if they're not supposed to there's no fence. I said, that's not great. So, but anyway, that's done, that's what
Were they planning on down there, or were they?
No, they dropped everything and got here.
Kate, 'cause it's a sniper rifle. I
so
like
there's
neck
that.
shots, you know.
That's very always.
Doesn't run too
That's a
far.
really new development. Jim was asking, I think you guys saw that email, Jim was asking about those vacated alleys. I actually brought you the map, so you can see that.
It's purple.
So here's your alley, here's East Second Street. There's where portions of the street are vacated over here.
Yeah, I was thinking when you said that from the alley, I was looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I was a,
That's down the east. That's been vacated from this point down, right?
Just where it's yellow.
No, we're chill front.
Because I think I mentioned
I'm
Bob
sorry,
once.
it's 7 o'clock, you guys. I apologize. You can
Two
hang on
guest
that.
houses up here. Right there and here. Of course, that's something, man. Was, I asked him, I said, really not? When you vacated that.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and watching on TV. First order of business is a public hearing. I'll turn it over to Mr. Philippe.
So this public hearing is called to order at 7:01 at City Hall on this Monday, September the 13th. And it is a hearing for a rezoning request for property owned by Christine L. Fulbrath, consisting of lots 35, 36, and 37 on East First Street, currently zoned A1 agricultural to C1 general commercial. The applicant also requests that lots 69, 71, and 73 on East 2nd Street, currently zoned A1 agricultural, be rezoned to R1 single-family residential. The properties are located at 106 Gilbert Street. And we have as proposed exhibits, is exhibit number 1, the affidavit of publication from the Herman Advertiser Courier. Exhibit number 2, the notice of public hearing that was published in the paper. Exhibit 3, the City of Herman's Planning and Zoning Commission zoning application form that's been completed by the applicant. Exhibit 4, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes from August 26, 2021. In those minutes, it's indicated that Brian Chorley made a motion to recommend this zoning change of lots 69, 71, and 73 to R1 on East 2nd Street, and lots 35, 36, and 37 on East 1st Street back to the original C1. And Mike Langille seconded the motion, and the commission approved it unanimously. And Exhibit 5 is the entire municipal code of the City of Herman. And the applicant will have an opportunity to speak and present any documents that they might have or want the city to look at as exhibits. And of course, all of the aldermen and the mayor may ask questions, and anyone present here in the room who is in favor of this application may speak, and anybody who's opposed to the application may speak, or anybody who might be neutral that just has comments on the application. And so, given all that, our applicants here? It appears not. Discussion, Mayor?
Is it, anybody up here have anything they would like to remark? Questions? Anybody in the audience have any comments?
I do.
Yes, ma'am. Want to step up to the podium, please? State your
Sorry.
name.
Sarah Hackley. I just feel like maybe you should take a little longer look at that. Well, I feel like what they want commercial, at least the one lot, sits high up on the hill, level with the street. Doesn't seem conducive to be a commercial lot. During the planning and zoning meeting, really the reason they gave to go back to commercial was that was what it was originally was, and it sits along the street. But honestly, I'm a bad judge of height, but probably 100-foot cliff there. And so what commercial property could really go there, I don't know. But what can go there is another guest house. And up on that hill, where that is, between Gellert and 2nd, is a traffic disaster. The road is bad. People come up the hill, come over the hill, don't stop at the stop sign, and the property where people would be staying, and that's what we believe up on the hill is going to happen, is it's going to be a guest house, has to pull right in there. It's right across from all the mailboxes. So I don't understand why it probably doesn't all turn into residential since it is a home there. But other than that, I mean, that's just my objection. It's another guest house up on East Hill that the road just cannot sustain. It's a one-way road right now. And when that's going to be fixed, you know, who knows? I know it's one of the many projects that's going to go on in town, but I believe it should be, if not stay agricultural, at least be residential. Just because it sits along Highway 100, does it have to be commercial? And that's all I can say. Thanks.
Thank you.
Quick question, is this time for us to discuss this, or do we do that before we vote?
Do I know, I'm sorry?
Is this the time for us to discuss this among ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump out of line here, but, there are a lot of problems with this. As Ms. Hackman pointed out here, that the streets up there are just horrible for this sort of thing. Right now, you can't park on the streets. If somebody parks on the streets, you can't get through. We do have a project streets, and eventually that'll all get fixed, but that's not anytime in the immediate future. Franklin Street over there at the end of that's going to have to get done, and we're going to be routing more traffic through there, because people are going to have to come the other way if they start driving on that hillside. The people that live up there don't want this. And those are the people we work for. I'm not against guest houses, not even a little bit. I think they're wonderful, they're good for the town, they're some of the best properties we have, but we set rules about where they could be. And this isn't simply altering a little something so somebody can put a guest house there. This is changing zoning for a guest house, and that's what this is about, fellas. It's not about anything else. And like I said, that, and just back to the fact that the people there don't want this there. I'm sorry, I can't support this.
I concur with what Alderman Ferber has. Is I had some emails today about, we actually measured, got the streets measured, and some of those on East 2nd Street's 12 foot wide. 2 cars cannot pass. If you're coming up from Reserve Street to turn left on the Gillard, it said it's 22 foot. It might be, but with cars parking on Gillard Street, it becomes a 1-lane street. And by increasing, even if we went to an R1, which would be residential, that's gonna cause more traffic in that area. And from Gillard Street to Franklin, it's 12 foot wide. And in order to bring it out, yes, we're supposedly got 60 foot easement, but we're gonna have all kinds of expense putting in retaining walls, bringing in gravel to bring it up, looking at the neighbors that live on the south side of East 2nd Street, their driveways, their mailboxes are all in there. So we're looking at having to get, if the street is 12 foot wide, we're gonna have to come up with 18 to 20 feet so we can put a 30-foot street in there. So I think, personally, I agree with Alderman Ferber that the zoning request be denied.
You're talking about putting a 30-foot street on 2nd Street?
Yes.
See, you don't really have to do that. A quick solution to that is just to make 2nd Street one way to Franklin one way and one way, you know, just make it a
But
one-way
then
street.
I thought of that too, is then those that live up there, the Berkerhoffs, the people assign this, now in order to get to their house, then they're gonna have to go
They have to go around the block.
around the block to get to their house. If you make it
But what I'm
one
saying,
way.
that's a solution, so you don't have to
Yeah,
spend
it
all the
is
money.
one solution, and I thought about that.
Yeah, I had two.
I think, I don't know if this one guest house is really gonna make or break the infrastructure problem that's there, is my opinion on it. The people are already gonna be up on that hill, and we're gonna have to fix that regardless of whether or not this is.
Well, I agree, but it's never gonna come to those, I mean, rezoning that R1 up there, it's just gonna be a double of the time building anything up there far enough away from that street so people don't have to, the park lot, that drops off pretty darn fast right there. As an agricultural designation, that doesn't keep someone from actually living in that house, does it?
Yeah.
Could they do a conditional with the agricultural?
No, I don't think they do.
A conditional for what?
Conditional use for a guest house
No.
under the agriculture.
Well, we're looking at Gillard Street, use that as an example, but with parking allowed on the east side of Gillard, it still narrows that down to a one-lane traffic. In case of here several months ago, we had an ambulance call up there. It was hard for that ambulance to get up there. And if you think if there's a fire, these fire trucks have to get up there and parking, it's gonna make
We
it
go up
hard.
there quite often with automatic alarms at Deerberg's facility.
But I think it's gonna make it too tight and restrict the first responders.
But if you come down to it, even if everything up there was perfect, I might look at this a little different, but the people that live there don't want there. They don't want that zoning change. And as I said, those are the people we work for. And you're gonna have to have a better reason than this in order for me to upset all these people. And that reason just isn't here. So I'm not gonna vote in favor of this. I can be overruled, but I'm not going to.
Mayor, let's think out loud here for a second. There's a provision in the code that says that if you get written objections or a petition signed by more than 30% of the people that receive notice that are within 185 feet of the proposed property to be rezoned, then no zoning amendment can be approved unless it's passed by at least 2/3 of all of the aldermen. And so if we voted tonight, and we know we got one no vote and probably two, that's fine. But the only way to get 2/3 of all of the aldermen would be 3 out of 4 in our case. 2 out of 3.
Right.
And so if the applicant were here, I would ask them whether they would like a vote tonight or if they would like to postpone the vote to the next meeting when Alderwoman Langer is here to see if that changes the numbers or the vote or the mix or anything. But our applicant is not here. So I think it's really up to you and you guys. Whether, if they were here, they could plead their case to, yes, please postpone it to the next meeting, but they're not. But I just wanted to point out that rule. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who signed this. And
You said 185 feet.
yeah, I don't know how many people got actual notice,
It's not in the past report, it's actually coded as.
but it's probably, is it less than 20?
Oh, yeah.
So this is more than 30%, so we would need that 2/3 majority to pass this. Again, of all of the members of the Board of Aldermen, not just the quorum.
Mr. Mayor, at your meeting, what you want to do?
When we don't want to table, we need to take care of it, so
That's fine.
is there anybody else have anything? If not, I would entertain a motion either way.
I'll make a motion to decline the rezoning.
Motion's been made and seconded to decline. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All three. So motion is declined. So be it.
That's it right there?
That's it. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on. Mayor's report, short as usual. One of my favorite things is new businesses. The Tattered Mercantile is opened on Schiller Street, nice new shop. And Herman Mole Auctions is open next to the Dollar Tree.
Who's that?
Where are you going there? You know, I had the honor this last week to read a proclamation for Victor Wagner. Victor's 103 years old, a humble man. It's done a tremendous amount of work in Herman, building houses with his brother and doing furniture and so forth, including our desk up here. And I just publicly want to recognize him in the meeting. He's just a great guy. You know, and the other thing, all the crazy things that are going on in our world, you know, if you live in Herman, you have truly been blessed. And thank you for being part of our community. City Administrator report.
Yes, just a couple things. We've been talking about the American Rescue Plan Act funds for a while. We did finally get our portion of that deposited in the city account on the end of August in the amount of $236,290.90, which is about $15,000 more than the initial estimate they'd given us. So that's fantastic. There's also a resolution on the agenda tonight. It's for the adoption of the Gastonia County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan, which is a mouthful, but it is, I just want everybody to know and the public to know that that is just a plan that gets re-updated and re-adopted every 5 years by all the cities in the county in this region, and there is a link that people can go to and view the plan, and they're taking public comments. MRPC has done the bulk of the work, and they are taking public comments through September 30th. So if anybody's interested, that's merrimackregional.org where the public can view that plan. I also just wanted to kind of put a reminder out there to any person, business, or organization who wants to participate in Oktoberfest activities. Next Wednesday would be the absolute deadline for turning anything in for the last September board meeting before Oktoberfest. So if anybody has been waiting, now's the time to get those things turned in. A couple public works things. I've had, I think, 3 inquiries in 1 week about the CTOL booster pump. We put that in our new budget, and people were wondering just the timeline on that. So I did get with our engineer and get a little more detail. He was literally wrapping up some loose ends to get our permit sent off to DNR. We need a new permit for this pump. And unfortunately, the review period for that is up to 60 days. So then after that, after we get the approval, then he, the engineer, and the contractor need to coordinate on some details. And so realistically, it's going to be after the first of the year, if anybody asks you. Does he talk booster pump? The other thing in the water department was that there has been a leaky valve over there by Schiller Street. And a couple of people have brought that to my attention. Actually, last week, the water department tried to repair it. The bolts broke. They have them ordered. They're be working on it and repairing it this week. So we've had people keep reporting about that water leakage, and we are aware of it, and it will get fixed this week. And let's see, the street department, they've been busy trimming trees, filling potholes, and the contractor, NB West, for the asphalt project that you all just approved at the last meeting. Ty actually heard from them, and they've given us a tentative date for those asphalt projects as being the last week of September. So that's pretty speedy. Other than that, I think just different departments are prepping for Oktoberfest, and everybody's keeping busy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Was there any public comments? Did you have anything?
Do you have any cards?
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to resolution.
All right, the resolution on for tonight is number 1310. A resolution to adopt the Gastonia County Multi-Jurisdiction Natural Hazards Mitigation Plan.
Move to approve.
Motion's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Any old business?
I have maybe 1 or 2. As we've talked about in the past, the VFW has asked us about having camping over there. We are working on it. I will be talking to the VFW this week about ways to get that set up so they can do it. I just promised the guys I would bring it up tonight, but I had talked some other things since then, so I'm not going to go real in depth to it, where we are on that. Another one is, for anyone who's not familiar with it, here in Herman, we have a flag ceremony for deceased veterans. The city of Herman does help in that. It's not a city of Herman
ceremony, but the city of Herman does help with it. An ex-mayor of Herman, Wayne Hagedorn, passed away this last week. This Wednesday, September 15 at 9:35 this morning, there will be a flag ceremony to honor him as he passes underneath the flag at the City Park Firehouse. The entire community is encouraged and welcome to come out and help honor Wayne and all veterans who served. Thank you very much.
It's a very nice thing that we do. Okay, new business.
Yes. I'm sorry, do you have some? Okay. I'm trying to jump in front of everybody here. I've had a lot, well, I've caught a lot of hell about food trucks. There was a time when food trucks were very necessary here in town. We had more and more people coming to town all the time. And we, quite frankly, didn't have enough restaurants and food sources to feed them all. There were some people in town who were worried they were getting too many. Getting a proliferation of them. I don't know if anything needs to be handled now. I'm thinking in the future that we might want to at some point, if we have all the restaurants feeding people and people aren't going hungry, we might not want to have quite so many during festivals. We have benevolent organizations who make their money with those food trucks and stuff and the food stands and everything. We want to make sure that we don't cut into their rice bowl. I mean, that's important for those people. Those are big fundraisers for them. We want to make sure that they get what they need also, and we don't want to cut down our local restaurants and stuff. The people that are here all year paying utilities, paying business licenses and everything else. Just something to think about in the future, okay?
No problem.
And one new item to bring attention for thinking of ahead in the next 10, 15 years to come, and maybe the city can be the leader on this, is installation of the electrical charges for the new cars. I understand there's a couple places here in town that has installed them already. That we could maybe lead that, a couple locations here in Herman to try it, be it metered electrical hookup, pay as you charge, because that's the future. Well, I think in 2050, all the manufacturers will be totally doing electrical cars. So it's just something, we got an excellent electric department that's high up on it. Maybe we can get them to put their thinking caps on and try to invest in the future.
I don't say that's a bad idea, but wouldn't the filling stations, wouldn't they really be the ones to put those in?
Well, you gotta look at, from my understanding, I'm not well versed on electric cars, but you're looking for 3-4 hour charging time. So
yeah, that would be a bit of a problem.
I was just thinking location, maybe putting one down, say on Wharf Street and maybe off of 4th Street. I think the city owns a parking lot there.
Some places don't flood.
Some places don't flood. But then once we can maybe establish a need, then we can approach guest houses that they could see the need and expand more on. Just the future, and it's coming.
Not bad.
Okey-doke. Have any new business? All done? Okay, we'll move on to motions. Do I have a motion to approve last minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Invoices for payment?
Move we pay the bill.
Motion been made to pay the bill, second?
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, hire Melissa Overcamp as administrative assistant to the Public Works Department.
Move to approve.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Hire Emily Post as a police officer.
I move we approve the hire on the chief's recommendation.
Motion been made, second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Conditional use permit renewal for the Hermanoff Incorporated doing business 10 Mill Brewing Company, 114 Gutenberg, liquor sales and outdoor consumption.
Move to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second?
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Conditional use permit renewal for Uncolored Wine Bar, Dean and Living Stupley, 114 East 4th Street, liquor sales for outdoor consumption.
Move to approve.
So, if you all recall, I sent you an email, they had an additional request. They wanted to amend their application to include outdoor music. Is that still true? May they speak?
Outdoor on your deck,
Yeah.
this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
Acoustic on the back deck.
Acoustic?
Yes.
Open a discussion on that. I could go along with the outdoor consumption, but not the outdoor music, based upon that we're all aware of issues going on at this time involving outdoor music, and the Stookies were part of the complaints about loudness. And I think at this time we should table the outdoor music pending us have time to get an ordinance in place where we could be able to resolve those issues that we're dealing with right now.
Well, I don't think we should penalize them for, the issues that's been going on. That's my feeling, if we wait and then it's the winter season and I'm sure they want to probably try and get it up and running before October, or during October.
This is a commercial district.
Yeah.
This is allowed.
It does not allow them to violate the city ordinances.
Well,
If we-
the ordinance is you gotta shut her down, was it by 10 o'clock? Isn't that what we have?
Yeah, they have to be done by 10.
And if we do it today, then I can see it coming because we've had another, well, I was grandfathered in. I think for the behalf, the betterment of the city, we postpone it until we have a good ordinance where our law enforcement officers could enforce it.
Well, this is a conditional use permit. It can be canceled if there's a problem.
That's true also.
That's why we do conditional use permits, because if it becomes a problem, we can revoke it. But until they show that it's going to be a problem, I don't have a problem with trying. We're trying to get people to come and enjoy our commercial districts and stuff, so. I'm gonna vote to, like I said, I still move to approve it.
I have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. Okay. What?
I don't think you had a majority vote.
2-1.
For a motion, you just need a majority of the quorum, so the quorum is 3, so 2 out of 3 will pass it.
Okay, caterer's permit for Jacob Rigging and Company doing business at Switchgrass Spirits, Dearborn Educational Foundation, Blackshire Distillery, Loose Caboose Saloon, for the Smoke Fest 2021 at the Amphitheater, September 18th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion been made to approve, second.
I'll second.
Second, you abstain? So carried.
We didn't vote, we just approved. Do we still need to vote on it? I moved it, he seconded it, but we didn't actually take a vote there, did we?
Vote.
Aye. Aye. I mean, I'm just making sure we did it right.
I read it between the lines.
Okay.
Okay, now motion carried. I'm allowed. Okay. Caterers permit for the Chilliwack Staffing Company Food Truck Event on East First Street, October 9th and 16th.
This one got a little problem. This isn't a food truck. They're gonna be
Yeah.
selling booze down there on that one.
I agree, it ties in what Alderman Fairburn said about food trucks, and the initial application for the request just says food trucks. It doesn't say intoxicating liquor,
All right, well,
so therefore I would not.
you want to step up to the podium and try and explain so we understand what,
So, we're not from Chillax, we're just.
right, I understand. You're promoting the event.
Yeah, so,
When you originally said this, it was going to be food trucks, and you were going to try and do where you weren't going to jeopardize the Lions Club and so forth, if I understood it correct.
yeah,
Okay. But if it has, when we get into the liquor, it just entires a whole bunch of other stuff. It's just not as simple as bringing a truck in, because that whole area's got to be fenced off. You're going to have people at the gates, not letting anybody out with alcohol, because the police are going to give them a ticket for out on the sidewalks. there's just a lot more involved with that, so I think it's, and plus you got, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of an issue and a problem, I think, but, you know.
It is, it's a real problem. Oh, that's
How many-
the old containers are a lot.
How many trucks are planning on having liquor, do you know?
This is the only truck that's designated just for alcohol. All the other trucks are strictly food. There's one truck that was applying for food and alcohol. So this is the only one they're thinking one weekend, potentially maybe two. It's really just a complement to the food trucks itself. It's not the primary purpose of the lot. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to hinder what we're doing, where we're standing. You know, it is our hopes in the future. That lot is valuable real estate to us. So we're going to utilize that lot best we can to generate revenue to hopefully renovate that building. That building, you guys probably know, has a lot of cost and repairs that it needs. So we're just trying to be proactive and get in front of it.
Well, I'm all for what you're doing. I think it's a great idea. You know, the food truck industry in different areas is really good.
Yeah, and to speak on Dave's, you know, the food trucks themselves really are a destination in themselves, and they have a pretty strong following. So it's a way to bring folks to Herman from a different source of tourists. So,
Look at Afton, Missouri, what it's doing for them.
yeah, that's kind of,
No kidding.
we visited multiple places and saw this as an attraction in itself, not to steal from other locations. We're trying to bring people to Herman for other things too.
How many other trucks do you have? Do you have all 6 filled, or?
So there's one, the very last weekend, we have 5 food trucks, but other than that, every weekend, there's usually about 3 to 4.
The biggest challenge we ran into is they're all booked.
Yeah.
By the time we started reaching out to them, they're booked up for this October, so we struggled.
So the truck that is doing food and beer, do you have plans to fence the area in now?
Well,
for that?
you know, we have the same challenge as everybody else. Labor is an issue. We're trying to do this as labor-free as possible. You know, so I'll be there present. You know, if that's not going to be a deal breaker for them, quite frankly. The good thing is we do have buildings on both sides, so we'll just be fencing off the front entrance and the back entrance. So from that standpoint, we could fence that off if we needed to. In terms of checking IDs when people come onto the property, you know, we leave that up to the vendor themselves that has a liquor license. And in terms of monitoring, we'd already planned on putting signs up that say no outside food or alcohol. It'd be just as simple to put no alcohol off the premise. So we'd already planned on that. You know, alcohol consumption in Herman during this time is already going to be an issue. So we already talked about having staff on site to monitor that type of activity from people coming onto the property, because we don't want to have issues with our vendors who are trying to serve food and cause disruption to what they're trying to do. So we'd already talked about that and we're prepared for it. But in terms of fencing off the property, if that's a solution, we can look at it. This one vendor, if we decide not to move forward with just a beer truck, is not going to hinder probably.
Is there any other requirements that, because of the liquor truck, that they're required besides just in this application?
No, just what you stated that we require for something like a beer garden, and I think you said it all.
And it's not, we're not looking for a beer garden.
No,
We don't need another beer room.
No, we are looking for a place for hopefully families to come in a high influx of people coming in town to get food, get different options. We don't think, you know, from what I've experienced being in Herman, there's a lot of people in town to try to get food. This is just an alternative solution.
Well, I don't have a problem with food trucks. My statements earlier were based on complaints I received from my constituents.
Yeah, we're trying to add a destination.
The alcohol, like I said, adds a little bit different.
They'll already be drunk by the time they
And
get
there's no seating going to be available, so if they have an alcoholic intoxicating beverage, unless they stand in the parking lot, it's going to end up on the sidewalks and streets, which is going to cause that man a headache. And we have enough of it anyhow.
So we wanted to clarify that when there's no seating, there are tables. We just don't want people to sit and loiter. We want them to stand at the table, eat. We've got trash cans set up for ourselves. We don't want them sitting, staying, and taking up the space.
Top height tables to stand at.
And we should have tables for about 80 people currently. We're going to encourage people to go to without alcohol, go to the riverfront, enjoy the pavilion, sit down and eat as well.
That's just going based upon the application. I had our city administrator get it where it was okay for food trucks.
Yeah.
And no seating, chairs, and no public restrooms. And if we have people imbibing on intoxicating beverages, those are all gonna be needed. And it's gonna cause more headaches than added to the open container law.
Yeah. I understand your concerns.
I'd be much happier about this without the alcohol.
I understand your concerns. I would say that the alcohol is gonna be an issue throughout the town regardless of one food truck.
Well, we have places that already sell
Yeah,
alcohol.
no,
We keep these people penned up. That's why we have that big beer garden down there. And believe me, that's a pen. I mean, they've made big improvements to it just to keep those people in there.
Yeah.
So these are on the weekends that you only have 4 trucks?
Chillax is on the 9th, is the week, just on Saturday on October 9th is, and they also applied for the 16th, but they wanted to go ahead and apply in case they were able to come. They don't think that they're gonna be able to come on the 16th, but they wanted to go ahead and have the permit just in case. And on the 9th, there are 3 food trucks, or 2 other trucks, and then the Chillax truck. Which is like, I would like to point out, it's not like the JC tent or tent like that where there's Bud Light pour. It's more like an artisan craft beer. It's a man that makes, I mean, he's a teacher that makes beer for himself. I mean, it's a craft service.
Man drunk is drunk. It doesn't matter who you got there.
I'm not arguing with you there,
I
but.
think the JC's have the ability to hand out liquor pretty fast. He's gonna be able to get one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got the volume that I think it potentially could be.
Still boils down to intoxicating beverage.
Yeah.
That's what people come to Herman for, but it's our responsibility. to
Let's
follow.
hope not. If they come to Herman just for the intoxicating beverage, we've lost our history.
Sure, I agree.
People come for all kinds of different reasons.
Sure.
That's just one of the many. Okay, any other discussion on this?
Wait, and I'll just say, this is our first time, so we're open to your all's idea. We're not, you know,
I
what do you guys
understand,
think?
but
We're just trying to make it go at it here, I guess.
and
Drop the booze truck and I'll make a motion to approve this.
I'm sorry.
I said, drop the booze truck and I'll make a motion to approve this.
well, that's
I think
That's the only thing.
that's the only thing that we're approving.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I'll make a
Sorry.
motion to deny the temporary liquor license for Chillax Tapping Company.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried, sorry.
Okay, I'll
You
handle
have to continue with your project.
Okay.
Okay, next one is a picnic liquor license for the JC's Beer Garden, Sesquicentennial Park, October 1st, 2nd, 9th, 16, 23, 30, and 31. Have a motion to approve that? Yes. Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Festival event application for American Legion Post 147 barbecue fundraiser at Family Dollar parking lot on Market Street for October 9th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Approve a request for reprinting of the welcome visitor guides for tourism department.
Mr. Mayor, I think you missed the VFW food stand.
Do what?
Item K.
I missed one?
Yeah,
Oops, I'm sorry.
for the VFW.
I'm really messing up tonight, ain't I? Festival event application, VFW food stand, 131 East First Street, October 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and the 30th.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I got a comment first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I didn't bring my hearing aids today. Does the American Legion, was that approved?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Now I'll move on to approve the request for reprinting of the welcome in visitor guide for the tourism department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
So carried. Okay, No reports, we need to go into closed session.
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of dealing with matters relating to legal action, cause of action, litigation, privileged communication between the city's representatives and its attorneys, according to state statute.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. We are now in closed session. Thank you everyone for coming. Oh, you're all done.
Your TV will now go on. I thought she was going to go out on her face while she took off and that thing looked on that trigger. Poor thing.
Well, wait just a minute.
Too bad.
Because they're having issues with the noise on it or something. People kept texting.
time?
So it was coming in and out, and some said they couldn't hear it.
I wonder if it was just different people speaking when the air was kicking on, because we've never had a problem with these microphones.
Some said they couldn't hear it at all, some said it was in and out, that you hear some of it.
On YouTube, do you think? Or on Mitigation?
YouTube